What's up, everybody? It got 10 seconds. Sorry, right there. We got the connection good in there. My name is Kurt H. I am the Lazy Farmer. Welcome to my channel. And today, we're not going to be doing a lot of your trains. This is going to be a short little video. Kind of give you an idea of what not only I do, but a lot of players of Run8 do. And not just for Run8. I know that there are some other simulators out there as well that this is what they do as well too. To basically, for me, it's to learn the routes or to learn the area that I'm in. Now, I've talked to you guys before. Southern California, pretty much anywhere in California I have been, or I'm familiar with. So how the two predominant Class 1 railroads work in California in relationship to the train simulator Run8, I get it. I mean, I understand it. I understand the routes. I understand where cars are supposed to go. It's not a problem. But today I'm looking at CSX. And here we're in the southeast, so that's Georgia and Florida. And as of right now, you can see we are looking at Jack's Ramp, Jacksonville, Florida, very close to the Moncrief Yard. This is the Jack's Ramp Yard. This is the intermodal yard facility in Florida. And to help a fellow YouTuber out who's sounds like they're coming brand new to Run8, still trying to kind of figure some things out. And I'm always trying to figure things out, because once I think I have one thing right, there's something else that comes along. But anyway, in today's world, CSX land, there are 3 intermodal yards in Florida. One is in Winter Haven, which is Orlando area. Another is Tampa, Florida. And then the one that is modeled in Run8 simulator is Jack's Ramp. So I'm just showing it because we're going to go over some things that I do, and I'm showing this particular train here, the Q141, just because I want to try, hopefully make this easier for everybody else in what I do. So the first thing that I start to do, and I started to do it, and I got the idea for this video, so I stopped. Is I'm going to set up a spreadsheet, and some other YouTubers will talk about their spreadsheet, some won't, but I think pretty much anybody that does that does Run8, they use a spreadsheet of some kind. And it's it's daunting, especially if you're a single player on this in this simulator. It's okay to be single player. It really shines in multiplayer, and everybody, when you buy the game, you get a multiplayer server. It's not a game. I keep calling it a game. It's a simulator. It's a full-blown, realistic train simulator. Anyway, I use a spreadsheet, and there's a lot of them out there. Of course, we know that the dominant one is the big one from Office, which is Excel. You don't need to go buy that one. You don't need to spend money on that one. There are free versions out there. Of course, there's Google Sheets, which is very good for what we do here. That works out very well, especially if you're in a multiplayer environment and you want to share it with your other players so they get an idea of what it is you're doing. And all depends on how you set it up. And I'm not going to get into configuring Sheets. I'm not going to get into configuring Open Office, which is another free Office program. It does everything that Microsoft Office does. And then the third one, which is the one that I use, is called LibreOffice. And I'll put links to these. I'll go find the sites and put links in. Of course, Google Sheets you can just find by just doing a Google search. Google search all 3 of them, be honest with you. Why should I do the work for you when you can do the work yourself? Anyway, but LibreOffice is built off of OpenOffice, but it has a much nicer look to it. So I started using that. And to give you an idea, this is what just popped up on the screen here is what LibreOffice looks like. And what I'm doing with LibreOffice, right, and I just started, is I labeled the first tab, CSX Southeast, And then what it is I'm trying to do is the 2 lines underneath, the work will be done in order of days, day 1 through day 7. 24-hour work days, 2-hour sim time equals 10 sessions per day. So what that means to me in how I'm trying to set this up is that I will go into a session, and I'm going to start doing this. And this is a combination of 2 ideas that I got from 2 different players. One was streaming, one is basically just playing multiplayer, and I was chatting with him on the forum. So combination of the 2. So basically, one was taking the approach that every day they signed into Run8 and started to play with the simulator, that that would be day 1, we'll say, and then the next time they signed in the Run8 would be day 2, and their sessions would be maybe 2 to 3 hours at a time. And of course, you're not going to get a lot of work done because Run8 operates in real time. So if it takes you 8 hours to drive from point A to point B in the real world, it'll take you 8 hours to get there via train. So, so the other individual that I was chatting with in the forum he works it out, and I like this one because it's every time he comes in, that's a session, and he may only do an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is. And he keeps track of it in the spreadsheet. Okay, so what I started to do is I'm taking that approach that I'm going to start working as if, okay, I'm starting on day 1. So if I were to bring you out, let me get rid of this so you can see what I'm doing. Stand by here, get rid of that. Okay, so if I'm coming out and into Run8, what I want to do is I'm going to change the time. Now I can always go back. Come on, I can always go backwards in time. Can't go forwards in time. So today is the 16th of November. That's the day I recorded this. So I'm going to roll this back. Let's say November 1st. And I'm coming back. Okay, November 1st. There we go. Then I'm going to set the time. Roll this all the way back to midnight. Seconds don't matter. I'm trying to scroll back here, and it's just like taking its time. Come on. Stars are moving. It's got a lot of work to do. So we don't have to be precise, but you guys get the idea. We're going to roll back the time. I don't know if I could type in there. I wonder if I could type in there. Nope. So, all right. So midnight, we're going to say we can start here 3 minutes in. And I can freeze the time too, which means it's going to stay at that time. So I'm not ready to get to work. I got my time set. I'm using the 24-hour format. So actually midnight on November 1st is the start of the shift. That would be 000000. And it would go up to 23:59. 23:59:59, and then start again at 000000. Okay, anyway, the next day. So when I'm ready to get rolling, once I get everything situated, I can unfreeze time. Unfreeze time. Now the time starts. We will start clicking forward. Okay, and as it starts to move forward in time, then we can do our session, and then we're done. We can come back here and click on freeze time, and that's the end of our session. Okay, and we will work day 1. So say day 1 is working here in Jack's ramp. Whatever it is I might be doing, I'm running, I'm working this train, working it in, taking cars out, getting ready to send, waiting for other trains to come in, waiting for other trains to go out, whatever it might be. And I do all the yards that way. So, but I'm going to pick 1 yard a day. That's it, 1 yard. So that's where we're going to come back to. Did I freeze the time? Maybe just double check that. Yeah, I froze time. Okay, so there it is. All right. So let's go back to the spreadsheet. And what I want to do is, now I have day 1 is in Waycross, day 2, Fitzgerald, Oglethorpe, Manchester. And I started putting which locals run out of those yards, and then I decided to do them all here because these are all the yards that we will operate out of. So, but these are the yards in 7 days. these are the yards that we're going to be working. So I've got some more to add in. So I got, Waycross is a big one. That's the main hub. So day one, my philosophy is that day one, we start in Waycross. Okay, and what we do, we're humping every train that comes into Waycross. We're building trains going out of I'm going to go off the map and send them out and off of Waycross, and we'll AI those. And then we're getting ready to send out the locals that are going to be hauling, like here an example, Fitzgerald, Oglethorpe, Manchester, A20, and A720, A726 will go out, and then that'll be one train, and that will be the Manchester local, the Fitzgerald local, and then there's an Oglethorpe local which has two different trains. So we can add A731 and then A732. So we do that so we know that we can build one train that on day two we're going to go down and we're going to grab a train out of Waycross, and even at the end of day one we can send that train out and AI it, get it going, get it on its way. But as we work our way up, and I believe Fitzgerald is first, Oglethorpe is next, and Manchester is last yard, this particular train is dropping off the cars that go to those locals for those particular yards, hence this list over here on the right. That's how I'm going to organize my thoughts. That's how I'm going to come, and then I'll make this prettier and the whole bit, but right now I'm just roughly getting this information into a spreadsheet that tells me where locals are going to go, where they're coming from, and basically all trains will come into, except for the intermodals, all trains will come into Waycross and leave from Waycross, because that's the major facility. That's the hump yard. Rice Yard is the hump yard. So everything comes in and goes out that way. So even if we work these locals here at Fitz, Oglethorpe, and Manchester, we work those, there's going to be outbound cars. All right, well then that train that ends up at Manchester Yard, which is the farthest most northern yard, that particular train, which is usually 2 to 3 locomotives, they're going to start pulling all the outbound cars down out of Manchester to Oglethorpe to Fitzgerald, whichever. I got to put these in order. I got to look that up. And once again, it's all part of the organization. And then eventually, when I pick up the last set of cars that are going to be going out, then I'm going to AI that train to Waycross. Let it go. It'll come into the Waycross receiving yard, and it'll sit there until I come back around day 2, day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, come back to day 1 again, and then it'll get worked out into an outbound train that's going to go off the map. And that would probably be the first set of train or cars or consists that I would work, would be the cars that are going to be going off the map. Get the cars moving, get them out of my way. But as I'm working this, I still have trains coming in. So it's still going to be very busy. So Waycross will be a very, very busy yard. There will always be trains coming in. So that's in general what I'm doing. Now, where do I go and look for this information? Great question. All this information really comes from the Depot website. So if we go to the Depot website, we have a myriad. They have so much information here. And so I'm not figuring any of this stuff out on my own. You don't have to. And I don't feel like I'm reinventing the wheel. I'm just taking the stone wheel that Fred Flintstone made. And it's not really fair either, because the Depot does fantastic work. But in essence, we'll just say I'm taking the stone wheel that Fred Flintstone made, and I'm refashioning it into a wheel that's on a chrome wheel with fancy tires and the whole bit. And that's suited to me. It's suited to the way I do things. So make this one your own. This is this is what a lot of everybody does. So um, we can get I can get a lot of information from the different sites here. We're looking at the page here for train symbols, and as we scroll down, like we'll go pick on the intermodals going to Jack's Ramp. One of the things as we look at this in the intermodals, they're not going anywhere else. They're either coming to Jack's Ramp or leaving from Jack's Ramp. So now there is a Q187 that goes from Jack's Ramp to Taft, Florida. That's an intermodal. We have auto racks. Those are car carrying ones. But we want to basically look at ones that are going to be coming from off the map, coming to Jack's Ramp, or leaving Jack's Ramp in the intermodals and going off ramp, going off the map. So right here, Q036 is an intermodal, leaves Jack's Ramp and goes to Little Ferry, New Jersey. So it's going to go north. So, well, we need to make that, and that's important because we need to think about when we're building the train. If it's going to go north, we're not going to put the locomotives at the south end of the train. Otto might get it there, but we all know Otto drinks. He's got a problem. So, and same thing, Baltimore, Maryland to Jack's Ramp coming from the north. So anything that's coming from the south, we have to take a look at that. If we look at anything, do I have anything? See, Greenville, North New Jersey, Charleston, South Carolina. That's actually to the north. Baltimore, Maryland, North Carolina is to the north. New Jersey's to the north. Chicago is kind of northeast-ish. But in terms of the maps in Run8, it's going to come in from the north. And so pretty much all these intermodals come in from the north into Jack's Ramp, and they're going to leave Jack's Ramp heading out through the north. So if you're trying to build a train that's coming from the south, let's say New Orleans, okay, well then this, based off of the depot configuration files, which is what we're looking at here, based off the depot configuration files, you would actually have to go in and come up with a train symbol, and then you're going to need to go into the editor to to add that train symbol so that it routes correctly coming in from the south through all the appropriate control points and into Jack's Ramp. And if it doesn't have that control point in Run8, then Otto's going to try to do the best he can, but he's not going to know that it needs to go to Jack's Ramp, and he may route it in through Moncrief, and then on through Moncrief and into other areas. So I'm not going to get into too much detail on the train symbol editing, but the train symbol routing editor, there's a link in the description to that. The train symbol routing editor is perfect unless you know how to format the code in the XML documents. The train routing editor does that for you. That is from Highball Run8. Once again, the link is in the description, so play around with it. And of course, they'll say it here in the directions. I'm going to tell you, before you do anything, don't back up. Hang on, I said don't back up, and I'm not finishing my thought. Copy your file that you want to manipulate, copy it into another folder. All right, manipulate it in that folder. All right, and then when you're ready, rename the original one, move it, whatever you want to do, keep it backed up, but you want to make sure that you have it set the way you want to do it. And I might do a video later on about how to use this editor. There are videos out there already, but that's if you want to add, but we're really not to that point yet. If you want to add a train, and I believe that's what I was looking at, watching a video today. I felt like I misled that YouTube person, he followed I mean, I felt privileged because he followed my advice. But as I watched the video, I was like, okay, why didn't it go where he wanted it to go? And when I went back and looked, I realized he was routing a train from the south into the north, and he wanted it to go into Jack's Ramp. It didn't, because it went into Moncrief, and because honestly, the way the configuration files are from Depot, which is what he was using, there are no intermodals that come from the south. They're all coming from the north. So they're coming out of the Fitzgerald sub down into, through Waycross and down into the A line, and then they find their way to Jack's Ramp. So that's the configuration. That's how it's set up. So we want to look at trains and set trains up that way. And so I would do something, if I'm going to do this, say, okay, I want to go to Jack's Ramp, then I'm going to go ahead and go back to the depots. Here are the depots. What I want to do is say I'm going to go pick, I'll scroll down, find an intermodal. This is coming, we'll start with the very top. This is coming from Chicago, Illinois, Bedford Park to Jack's Ramp. That's Q025. All right, so I'm going to use that one. So we're going to go back. Let me get back into, get rid of that, go there, so you can see Q025. All right, so I might do for Jack's Ramp, Q, I'm trying to think how I want to write it. This will always change, 025, inbound, or just in, whatever, however you want to notate it. You can color code it if you wanted to. I might want to say, okay, if that's coming in, I might give it, a little pink color or something. Okay, and then we want to take a look. Well, what's the reciprocal? The reciprocal for that would be the Q026. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go Q026 out. And okay, I might go ahead, since it's leaving, I might color code that as a light green. It's going out. All right, so you can literally have any number of intermodals coming in, but over that 7-day period of time, if you're going to rotate, if you're going to do this and you want to rotate through your days, don't overload your yard. That's the biggest thing. So how do we go about doing that? Okay, well, let's set that up. So I am going to go, and once again, I'm going to go back into Run8. I want to make sure that my time is still frozen, because I'm not done. This, in my virtual model railroad mentality, what I'm doing now is going to be working on scenery. So Shift F2 brings up the AI train menu. And so I want to go in and I want to take a look at the AIs once it is enabled. Minutes between spawns, min and max. So between 55 minutes and 60 minutes, we're going to get a train. One train. Maximum total amount of trains allowed on the map is 20. Right now I'm not getting a lot of trains. I'm not getting a lot of through point. That might be the entire everything that I have. And I'll come to an issue that I've discovered there. So I might raise it up to 30, 40. But you play with these settings until you get exactly what you want as far as traffic on your. If you're playing single player, you may not want a whole lot of traffic. If you're doing multiplayer and you got a good group of friends, or you got people that follow you're a streamer and they follow your streams, give them more work to do. Give them more trains to come on, however you want to do it. So, okay, spawn points. What I want to do is I want to look at a spawn point that is going to be coming from the north. So I think, not knowing the area, all right, let's do this. Let's make it easier on ourselves. I'm going to go into our dispatching screen, and I'm going to go to the Fitzgerald screen, And then I'm going to hit tab so I can get to the different pages. Go through tab. Session, second on, up, down. Cordell, this is a yard right here. Manchester's right there. So actually I got to add, so here's Oglethorpe. We talked about Manchester's right here. Then we come on down. Here's Oglethorpe. Here's Fitzgerald, and before Fitzgerald is Cordell. So anything on this line coming out of Waycross, we see down here it says to Waycross. So anything coming out of Waycross going up this way, I'm going through 1, 2, 3, 4 different, and ending up in Manchester. So 4 different yards. So now I'm going to add a fourth thing. So I might have a couple of trains coming up this way, depending on how long the consist is, because I want to make sure that, like right here, dueling, it has it down here that the siding is 10,000 feet. Great, I can have a train that's that's up to 10,000 feet. But yet over here at Oglethorpe, we're looking at 5,000 feet. So if I'm dropping off a set of cars at Oglethorpe, well, I can drop off the cars as long as they're 5,000 feet, but that's also going to tell me that if I have a very long train, it's going to be sticking out on the main. So things to think about. What are your limitations? So campground is the most northern, and so okay. So let's get out of this. We're going to go back into Shift F2, and here's North Campground Main, North Campground southbound, 550. So we can go. Let's go North Campground Main, and we can go to train types, and we've got some trains that are going. We got mixed containers, mixed freight, which would be your manifests, mixed intermodal, unit trains. We have a wide variety to choose from here. So, and if we wanted to do intermodal, say we're going to come here. All right, let's talk about this for a minute. North Campground is turned off right here, which means that if we turn it off, no trains come from North Campground. So we turned it on, and the farther we go this way, the more trains are going to spawn there. Okay, and now we go to train types. Now that North Campground is turned on, these train types are going to start spawning. We've got 3 that are set. Well, we want mixed intermodal. Okay, so all right, fine, mixed intermodal. We're going to turn that on, raise that up. Then we're going to go to train symbols. We need to add a train symbol. So we know that it's coming in as Q025. It's coming from, it's in the configuration file. So if the depot's got everything set up right, I don't need to go into auto and redo the train symbol editor. If I just use Q025, they'll know. All right, and then so I can do tag for an industry. No. Other peon, we can set the thing. This tells you how. This basically gives us how many locomotives are going to be at the front. All right. If it's another peon, we may only get 1 or 2, and it's going to drag the train, and it's going to take forever. Very low horsepower per ton. Up to King of the Rails, where it's going to throw everything it can on that train, giving it maximum amount of power to get from point A to point B in a rapid motion. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to do medium. We're going to play medium. And so right now it is, oops, there we go. Do we want to tag for industries? We can go through and filter what we want to see on the car here. It says no, which means we're going to end up with none. But if we add in the tag section here, say we want to do, we can do Jack's ramp, okay, or just Jack's, okay. We know those cars are going to Jack's ramp. Another thing what we need to do is also take a look at, is there an industry here? Is there an industry configured here? So industry tags are on. If we fly over, we got nothing here. All right, that's another issue. So we need to set up an industry as here too, with the same tag that the train's going to have. So we set up, basically we can plug down on these 2 tracks in here, turn that into jacks every time a train pulls in. If they're loaded, they'll become empties. If they're empties, they'll become loaded. Simple as that. You know, we can tell, we can do jacks 1, jacks 2, however we want to do it. So basically, we're going in, other peon, I don't want to do that. I want to do medium. And then which locomotives we want. ES44 is my personal favorite. We can do some SD70 aces, some dash 9s. And then we can come down here, we can pick what do we want. Okay, we're going to do all CSX. We can add any other one in there. We can do a Run8 in there as well too. We'll throw that in there. All right, and that's it. That's all there is. We can do a spawn now if we want to launch it. There it goes, spawning Q025 at North Campground Main, loading the train, placing the train. We're all good. So we back out. Now under the mixed intermodal, we're going to see that train. If we go to AI status, Q025 is right there. We can transport to it. Woo! It is dark over here. So there's our Q025. It's got an AI after it because it's, you know, the AI is going to run it. There's our intermodal right there. And if we go to the industry, there it is there. The red is the train. The green is auto giving it clearance to move on. And it's going to be, so it's going to start rolling out and heading south through Waycross. It'll eventually go through Waycross and go all the way. That is a nasty horn. So that's things that you can do. Okay, so we got that running. So it's all about the planning. I mean, get to know your routes, get into the depot configuration files off the depot website. I mean, you can do your own, create your own if you want. You can pull XML files out for different consists if you want to do that. Print them out, you know, so you have a consist manifest. There's another one just spawned at North Campground. So we got 2 trains coming out. Let's see what we got. There's that one. There's Campground. I don't see the North Campground. Oh, that's right. They're both right on top of each other. Ha! All right. What a great. That's crazy. So, anyway, but you can see here all these cars are labeled for jacks. So, but they're empties. So maybe they're going to go there to get full. So anyway, play with it. Play with it. If you have questions, my Discord channel is in the description. You can go ahead and send me questions. I'll try to answer them as best as possible, as long as they're Run8 oriented. I'm just going to say that. I've also linked in the links to the depot and to the editor, which is from Highball Run8. I have also added a link to where to get Run8 Train Simulator. I could go on and on about this. I don't want to go on and on about this. I wanted to keep this one kind of a short one. But build your matrix, your Run8 consist, control log, whatever it is you want to call it. Use a spreadsheet. It is very, very helpful. Keeps you organized, and at least gives you an idea when you come in what it is that you want to do. Okay, and if you want to run trains, run trains. If you want to work on your scenery, work on your scenery. But give yourself time. Plan that out in advance. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna jump out of here right now. I think I'm going to do a little Run8 off the stream, or maybe a little bit of Lord of the Rings Online. Who knows what I might be playing today? So I didn't get to play with my daughter yesterday because I had to work. I worked really late last night, so I'm looking at the time. I may end up playing with my daughter tonight, doing a little bit of Lord of the Rings Online. And if she wants to stream, I'll stream. If she doesn't want to stream, I won't stream. Anyway. Once again, this is Kurt H. I am the Lazy Farmer. Thanks for hanging with me. You have a great afternoon. Don't feel free to send me questions if you need to. Reply, of course, as always. If you like the content, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Click the notification bell. Please share it with friends and family that like trains. And I will be back later on, and we'll definitely do a session of Run8. Have a great afternoon.